Many people love going and seeing animals in their natural habitat. However, the differences between zoo animals and wild animals is enormous. Today we'll be talking about the different ways that nature preserves and wildlife parks help wild animals more than zoos. The information I gathered for my speech today can be credited to two sources, Washington EDU and the Wildlife Conservation Society. Nature reserves and wildlife parks are stepping up to the challenge every day and creating a safe space for endangered species to roam freely in the wild while still being protected. Let's start off by talking about the lack of education surrounding this subject. Few countries have nature reserves, and in these areas, the wildlife is protected and the number of endangered species has gone way down. Global warming is also impacted by nature reserves. It's impacted in a very positive way. While there are many benefits to nature reserves and wildlife parks, there's a lack of knowledge surrounding it. Approximately 3.4% of the United States is nature reserves, while many people are not aware of this. Nature reserves are much larger than just what meets the eye. When someone goes and visits a preserve, they always come back home with a new perspective on the beauty within nature. In an article published by Zachary W. Smith, he said, in addition, wildlife needs habitat for breeding, shelter, food, migration, and any other facet of life. Preserved areas are vital for flora and fauna, as well as the natural or health systems and processes. Opportunities for education and research can be found and are beneficial to biodiversity. The ability to preserve various important areas in the society and landscapes improve the health of the larger Mother Earth in many ways, lessening impacts of CO2, inducing global warming, improving water system health, and habitat diversity. Even the people who work at nature reserves are aware of just how beneficial they are, yet they still want to help and want to grow the knowledge. The Wildlife Conservation Society recently published an article on this subject. The value of all sites on global significance for biodiversity, including key biodiversity areas, is documented, retained, and restored through protected areas and other effective area-based conservation measures. You may be wondering which ways you can help to make wildlife better. Certain things you can do are stop going to zoos and going and visiting more wildlife parks. There are many in the US, so you can find any online. They are more helpful to the wild animals because they are not confined to cages or glass walls. The public needs to know how much helpful nature preserves are to help the wildlife. Every species deserves to live freely and not be worried about anything around them. Nature reserves provide just that. The beauty in nature is more than anyone could ever ask for, and it should be shared with everyone. So why should you choose nature preserves or wildlife parks over a zoo? Is a simple answer: because they're more helpful and more beneficial to the wildlife.